How to make him chase after you in 3 days. You don't actually want him to chase you. You want to stop feeling ignored, overlooked, and easily replaced. That is the truth most people avoid, because the moment you accept it, you stop chasing the wrong solution. Right now, it feels like the problem is him. His distance, his silence, the way he disappears and comes back like nothing happened. But the shift did not start with him pulling away. It started when you began giving too much without requiring anything in return. A man does not chase what feels guaranteed. He does not invest in what is always available. And he does not fight for something that already acts like it belongs to him. So every extra message, every time you ignore your discomfort just to keep him close, you slowly remove the only thing that creates attraction: the possibility of losing you. And you do not notice when it happens. You just feel the difference, the delay, the lack of effort, the distance growing quietly, until you realize you are the one trying to hold everything together. This is not about playing games. This is about understanding the moment you lose value in his perception and how to take it back without begging, without forcing, and without losing yourself. Because making him chase you is not about changing him. It is about changing how you show up. In the next part, you will understand the mistake that makes him lose interest even when he likes you. The mistake that makes him lose interest, even when he likes you. There is a point where everything starts to change, and it does not look dramatic. There is no argument, no clear reason, nothing you can point to. He is still there, but something feels different. Less effort, less attention, less presence. And you start wondering what went wrong. The mistake is not that you cared. It is how you showed it. When you make your interest too obvious, too constant, and too easy to access, you remove the need for him to invest. Attraction is not sustained by comfort alone. It is sustained by the need to earn, to pursue, to feel that something valuable is not fully secured. When you answer immediately every time, when you are always available, when you adapt your pace to his without hesitation, you send a message without saying a word. You show him that your presence is guaranteed. And once something feels guaranteed, it stops being pursued. At that moment, he does not decide to lose interest. He simply relaxes his effort. He stops trying as hard because he does not need to. And that is where everything begins to shift. Most women react by doing more attention, more understanding, more availability. They believe that increasing effort will bring back his interest, but what it actually does is confirm that he no longer needs to step up. Interest grows when effort is required. Value increases when access is limited. If he does not feel that he can lose you, he will not feel the need to chase you. In the next part, you will see the exact moment where this shift begins. The point where you stop being someone he desires and start becoming someone he takes for granted. The exact moment you start losing your value. It does not happen all at once. There is no clear line where everything changes. It is subtle, almost invisible, and that is why most women miss it. The moment you start losing your value is not when he pulls away. It is when you begin to overcompensate for his distance. He delays a reply, and you respond faster the next time. He shows less effort, and you try to be more understanding. He becomes inconsistent, and you become more available. That is the moment everything shifts. Because in that moment, you stop observing his behavior and start adjusting yours to keep him. You move from being someone he is curious about to someone he is comfortable with. And comfort without effort does not create attraction. It creates complacency. You think you are maintaining the connection, but what you are actually doing is removing the only reason he would have to invest. You are filling the silence he should feel. You are giving the attention he should be trying to earn, and slowly, without realizing it, you train him to do less. Not because he is manipulating you, but because your behavior shows him he can. Value is not about what you give. It is about what is required to access you. The moment that access becomes effortless, your value in his perception begins to drop. And this is where most women get stuck. They feel the distance, but instead of stepping back, they lean in. They try to fix what they did not break. In the next part, you will understand why he does not feel the need to chase you anymore, and how your behavior removed that instinct without you noticing. Why he no longer feels the need to chase you. Attraction is not driven by logic. It is driven by tension, uncertainty, and the need to move towards something that is not fully secured. The moment that tension disappears, the instinct to chase disappears with it. He does not wake up one day and decide to stop trying. What happens is simpler. He realizes, through your behavior, that your attention is already his. There is no risk, no distance, no reason to step forward, because you are already meeting him halfway every time. When you initiate most of the contact, when you respond instantly, when you are always emotionally available regardless of how he shows up, you remove the space where his effort would naturally grow. And without that space, there is nothing pushing him to act. Chasing is not about desire alone. It is about the possibility of loss. A man invests more when he feels that something valuable is not guaranteed. When that feeling disappears, his behavior changes. Not because he stopped liking you, but because he no longer needs to prove it. This is where many women misunderstand the situation. They think that showing consistency and effort will inspire him to do the same. But consistency without boundaries often becomes predictability. And predictability removes urgency. He does not chase what is always there. He moves toward what he might lose. And this is the turning point. Because once you understand that his lack of action is a response to the dynamic, not just his personality, you realize something important. You have more control over this than you think. In the next part, you will see the illusion that keeps you stuck, the belief that makes you give more when you should actually be doing less. The illusion that giving more will make him want you more. There is a belief that feels natural, almost logical. If you care more, show more, give more, he will recognize your value and respond the same way. That belief is what keeps you stuck. Because in the beginning, effort seems to work. Attention is returned, messages flow, interest feels mutual. So when things start to change, your instinct is to increase what once worked. You become more present, more understanding, more available. You try to fix the distance by closing it. But attraction does not grow through compensation. It grows through contrast. When you give more in response to less, you remove that contrast completely. Instead of creating curiosity, you create comfort. And comfort without effort does not pull someone closer. It allows them to stay exactly where they are. You think you are showing value, but what you are actually showing is certainty. You confirm that no matter how little he invests, you will still be there. And once that pattern is established, he adjusts to it. He gives less because he can. This is where the illusion becomes dangerous. You start believing that if you just hold on a little longer, if you just prove yourself a little more, he will come back to how he was. But what you are doing is reinforcing the very behavior that is pushing him away. Desire needs space to grow. It needs absence, uncertainty, and the feeling that something meaningful could slip away. When you remove those elements, you do not strengthen the connection. You weaken it. And the shift only begins when you stop trying to earn what should be freely given. In the next part, you will understand the difference between real interest and simple convenience, and why confusing the two keeps you chasing something that was never fully there. The difference between interest and convenience. Not every attention you receive means interest, and not every presence means intention. This is where most women get confused, because convenience often looks like care in the beginning. He replies, he shows up sometimes, he gives just enough to keep the connection alive, and you interpret that as interest. You believe that if he is still there, It must mean something real is growing. But what you are actually seeing is access, not investment. Interest creates movement. It shows up through effort, consistency, and initiative. A man who is truly interested finds ways to get closer, not just respond when it is easy. He creates moments, not just reacts to them. Convenience is different. Convenience adapts to you without committing to you. It appears when he is available, disappears when he is not, and never demands real effort from him. And if you are always there to receive that minimal attention, he has no reason to offer more. The danger is not just misreading his behavior. The danger is building your expectations on something that was never solid. You start investing emotionally in a dynamic that does not require him to invest back. And the more you accept convenience as interest, the more you lower the standard of what you believe you deserve. You begin to tolerate inconsistency, excuse distance, and justify silence. Clarity changes everything. When you recognize the difference, you stop rewarding behavior that does not meet your value. You stop confusing availability with intention. And once you stop accepting convenience, the dynamic shifts. Because now, he is no longer interacting with someone who settles for less. In the next part, you will understand the psychological power of absence and why silence can create more impact than anything you could say. The psychological power of absence that no one explains. Silence is not empty. Absence is not weakness. What most people call distance is actually one of the strongest forces in attraction when it is used with intention. When you are always present, always responding, always available, there is no interruption in his experience of you. And without interruption, there is no space for reflection. He does not have time to wonder, to question, to feel your absence. You become part of his routine, not something he actively desires. But the moment that pattern breaks, something shifts in his mind. The brain reacts differently to what is missing than to what is constant. When you are no longer there in the same way, he notices. Not immediately as panic, but as a subtle awareness. Something changed. Absence creates contrast, and contrast creates attention. When your presence is no longer guaranteed, it forces him to process the difference. He starts to think about what he used to receive without effort. He starts to feel the gap. This is where most women make a mistake. They try to explain their distance. They announce it, justify it, or turn it into a reaction. And by doing that, they remove the power of it. Because real impact comes from what is felt, not from what is explained. Silence is effective because it cannot be controlled by him. It is not something he can respond to immediately or manipulate. It places him in a position where he has to react internally first. And that internal reaction is what creates movement. Absence is not about disappearing to create drama. It is about stepping back to restore balance. It is about allowing him to experience what your presence actually means by no longer giving it freely. In the next part, you will see what happens on the first day when you apply this shift. Not to change him, but to change the dynamic that made him stop trying. Day 1. The cut that changes the dynamic. The first day is not about him. It is about you interrupting a pattern that has been working against you. And it will feel uncomfortable, because you are breaking a habit that kept you emotionally attached to his responses. On this day, you stop initiating contact. You stop filling the silence. You stop checking your phone expecting something from him. Not as a game, but as a decision. A decision to no longer act from anxiety. What you will feel first is not power. It is withdrawal. The urge to reach out, to send a message, to maintain the connection will show up quickly. And this is where most women fail, because they interpret this discomfort as a sign that something is wrong. But nothing is wrong. You are just no longer feeding a pattern that depended on your constant availability. From his side, nothing dramatic happens immediately. There is no instant reaction, no sudden message. And that is exactly why this step is important, because it forces the space that never existed before. Instead of reacting to him, you observe yourself. You notice how much of your attention was focused on maintaining his interest. You start to see how much you were giving without noticing. The first day is a reset, not of his behavior, but of your position in the dynamic. Because the moment you stop chasing, even internally, you create something that did not exist before. Distance. And distance is where everything begins to change. In the next part, you will see what happens on the second day, when that silence starts to be felt, not just by you, but by him. Day 2. The silence that starts to be felt. The second day is where the shift begins to move beyond you and starts to affect him. What felt like a personal challenge on the first day now becomes a change in the dynamic he is used to. You are no longer reacting the same way. You are not initiating, not filling gaps, not maintaining the rhythm he became comfortable with. And even if he does not consciously analyze it, he notices the difference. Silence creates space, and space creates awareness. Without your constant presence, he starts to experience the absence of something that was always there. It is subtle at first. A pause, a thought, a moment where he realizes you are not showing up the same way. This is where many women break. They start wondering if he forgot them, if he is losing interest completely, if the silence is pushing him further away. And that fear creates the urge to go back to what felt safe before. But what felt safe was exactly what removed his need to act. The second day is not about waiting for a message. It is about holding your position long enough for the shift to be felt. Not forcing a reaction, not chasing a response, just allowing the new dynamic to exist. If he reaches out, your response changes. It is calm, measured, without urgency. You no longer mirror his inconsistency with more effort. You match it with control. If he does not reach out, nothing breaks. Because the goal is not immediate validation. The goal is to reintroduce uncertainty, and uncertainty is what creates movement. By the second day, the pattern has been interrupted, and once a pattern breaks, it cannot go unnoticed. In the next part, you will see what happens on the third day. When this silence turns into a shift, he can no longer ignore. What truly makes him chase you. At this point, you already understand something most people never do. This is not about waiting 3 days and expecting a miracle. It is about changing the dynamic that made him stop trying in the first place. What makes a man chase is not your silence alone. It is not the time you disappear. It is what your behavior communicates when you are no longer available in the same way. He starts to chase when he feels a shift in your value, when he realizes that your attention is no longer automatic, when he understands, even without you saying it, that access to you now requires effort. Because the truth is simple and uncomfortable. He does not move because you want him to. He moves when he feels that staying still might cost him something. When you stop overgiving, when you stop adjusting yourself to keep him, when you stop reacting from fear, you create a new position. A position where your presence is not guaranteed, where your attention has weight, where your absence has impact. And that is where everything changes. He starts to notice. He starts to question. He starts to feel the difference between what he had easily and what he might lose. This is not manipulation. This is alignment. You are no longer trying to convince him of your value. You are allowing him to experience it through contrast. Because a man does not chase what is always there. He chases what he realizes he can lose. And when you reach that point, the focus is no longer on making him chase you. The focus is on never putting yourself in a position where you have to chase anyone again.